What do gay horses eat? Hey!
This isn't therapy. This is not therapy. This is not therapy. This is not therapy. This isn't therapy.
Let's get this roast a cooking.
Hello.
Hello, hi,
And welcome back
to another. What?
Why'd you stop?
I wanted you to go alone.
Okay.
I wanted you to do back by yourself.
Okay.
And
to another
welcome-
fun, back, flirty
Fabulous
episode
of This Isn't Therapy.
The podcast about all the stuff people are talking to their therapists about. Oh no, we swapped.
My name is Jake Ernst, and I'm a therapist. And this is Simon Palick. He's not a therapist.
But that's okay.
That's all right.
Because Jakey and I, we're just two friends who like to have conversations about therapy themes. So each week on this podcast, we grab our grubby little paws, we reach into that therapy room, we pull out a theme, a factoid, a question, a query, a quandary, something that is floating around in the culture, and then we just have a casual Kelly Couch conversation about it. Why?
Well, it's because therapy themes are every single
Everywhere.
place you look.
Yes.
That's right.
That's right. You do always say that. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Speaking of speaking.
Speaking of saying,
Okay.
say it.
Wow.
On this week's episode,
What are the therapy themes?
we are going to be talking about lovely listener's story.
Yeah, we have a lovely
We
listener
got a
story.
submission about big changes that are coming.
Yeah.
This seems to be a theme.
changes.
We get a lot of questions about this.
Like
A
navigating
lot of,
change.
well, it's a lot of questions about like, what should I do?
Yeah.
And I love those types of questions because we're going to get to it in a bit more of a deeper way
Yeah.
in this first segment. And then we are going to talk about cognitive bias,
Cool.
cognitive biases.
Okay. Is that the plural?
Yes, we're going
What's
to
the
talk
plural of an octopus?
octopi,
What's the plural of a cow?
a cow pie,
What's the plural of a couch?
a couch eye,
A couch
a
eye.
couch eye.
Cat's eye.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Oh. Aren't they like off right now?
A few of them are, yeah.
Okay, cool.
But we are in kind of Coachella territory where the rumors are that Manon is going to be back.
Okay.
So she might just be gearing up for that and some other projects we don't actually know.
Okay.
But that remains to be seen.
Great. I don't know any of those people are.
In
so-
any case,
Yeah.
we're back.
Cool.
Yeah.
Happy for the cat's eye and for us for
Yes.
being here.
And just very quickly, a note to the lovely listeners.
Yeah.
May we just say thank you? May we say thank you for
Hey,
being here? Thank you for
yes.
being around. Thank you for sticking around.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing up on social media. And you can join us on YouTube and Spotify and all those places where you get your programming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
So-
can follow us, of course, at This Isn't Therapy.
That's
on
right.
Everything.
Yeah.
Why don't we go to the first segment?
I'll see you there, babe.
Okay. I'll be there.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, take us to it.
So we have a lovely listener story. And like you said, you kind of have we've received quite a bit of stories about like navigating change or like navigating hard things and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is so lovely. And this one kind of stood out to me because I almost loved like the wait, but I'm not experiencing that angle to this. And you'll see why when we get to the story. So I'm calling this lovely listener story No Big Changes. And it goes like this. My life has been so stable for years that I can't recall a period of change that affected me in a big way. I sometimes wonder if never experiencing big changes in my life is actually bad for me, because sometimes the smallest changes can throw me off. If I would have experienced some bigger life changes and things growing up, maybe I'd be better and more able to handle the little things now as an adult. ... What do you make of that initial reaction?
I mean, this is a story about resilience in my mind,
yeah.
right? Being able to bounce back and have those muscles, social, emotional, or otherwise,
Okay.
to get yourself to the place where you need to be. And I think in a lot of ways, we forget that we need hard experiences and life experience in general in order to set a bit of a yellow brick road
Yeah.
for us to travel down, for us to get there, right? And so I think the lovely listener is right that on the whole, if you don't have those experiences, then future experiences might be more challenging to navigate.
Right.
But I might do a bit of a reframe on that, which is
Okay.
that maybe the lovely listener is experiencing the experiences that they need to experience in order to build that muscle.
Okay.
Right.
I'm with
So
you.
it's not that, I can't do it. It's more just that, well, maybe you're new to it.
Mm.
Maybe these are the first few experiences that you need to have before you build that muscle or kind of move on to that next level of life,
Right.
so to speak. All that is to say is that we forget that struggle is required for resilience. Frustration is required for resilience. We need something to overcome in order to be resilient. We're not just born resilient. We get there by overcoming things and by overcoming the struggles and the frustrations of doing the things that are hard.
Question in this story, and again, we don't know who this lovely listener is, right? And we don't even know like the tone or the context of the other outlying things that are going on in their life or what brought them to ask this question.
Right.
If I were to play, if I could color it with a certain color for a second, what I also hear in the story is this lovely listener basically saying, like, my life is pretty good right now. Like, I do not feel the need to go outside and make big changes. Like, wait, am I missing something? Like, am I becoming the opposite of resilient because of that? Can you maybe speak on that? Like, when life is good, should we just like let it be good? Or are we just like, hold on a second, I'm complacent?
Well, maybe it's both, right? Because when life is good, that's good.
Okay.
That's a good thing. Yes. So that
Like
is
thumbs up.
yes, that's side A.
Yeah.
But track B, when you
Yes.
flip it over,
Like emotion, all the good stuff is on side B.
side B, that's so true.
Mm-hmm.
When you flip it over, you also want to make sure that you have some stuff there, a skill set, a capacity that will be able to hold you through the hard stuff. So when life is all good, you want to just be careful that you're not just creating this bubble wrapped life
Right.
where you're avoiding the hard stuff or you don't have any practice doing the more difficult stuff, the stuff that maybe requires grit or some sweat, right, to get yourself there. So when you skip the struggle too much, then that puts you in a scenario where everything on side A is just good, and then you like do whatever it takes to stay on side A.
Right.
But we have to remember that life flips the record over, meaning that we do have struggle that is built into any meaningful life. We all have struggles that come. Those struggles look different for everybody, of course, but we want to make sure that we have a set of skills to help us work through that when that comes. Maybe one of the questions that people have are like, what are the skills, like those maybe little micro skills that
Well,
build,
let's ask the studio audience.
that build resilience. What are the skills that build resilience? Okay,
Well,
listen. So they
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Mike.
turns out they did have the
They have
question.
questions.
So they do. Thank you for asking.
Thanks, studio.
And so we're gonna get to it after the break. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
And paywall.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's things like being able to take perspective, being able to see yourself in these situations as someone who's capable. Maybe sometimes self-esteem might be part of this, right? So people who are more low self-esteem may not actually see themselves in a position of power or worth or be able to affect change in these scenarios.
Right.
And so our sense of self, as we've talked about maybe for a few weeks now, is a good building block that you want to work on. That will help you set up a lot of those skills that we're talking about.
Right.
But maybe some of the more practical skills, right? Even something like delaying gratification and saying, I want this, but I don't need it. And so I need to set this aside so that I can do what I need to do. And so sometimes when maybe our dopamine systems are kind of out of whack, or maybe we have some of the mental health stuff like anxiety, depression kind of seeping in, it might make or feel really attractive to just sit in bed all day or sit on the couch all day, when maybe it actually would be better for you to get up and do some laundry, or get up and maybe do some meal prep for Monday, Tuesday, so that you don't feel so bogged down by the weight of finding meals on Monday,
Right.
Tuesday.
Right.
Things like that, right? That I don't think it has to be literal blood, sweat, and tears to get yourself there, but we're talking about things that require effort. And sometimes that just comes from routines and chores and just resuming the sort of daily life routines that we need to get ourselves going.
Right. So what would you say, just another area of the conversation, like what would you say about if life is good, do you find that maybe sometimes people have a hard time just kind of like sitting in that for a bit, and instead they look for a struggle to sign up for? Because like, is it is that process of like going through uncomfortable things or like fighting a fight or being in discomfort, could that be, I don't know, like could that almost be like an addiction in a way? Like that's how I can make sense of something or myself, is like only when it's up against resistance.
Yeah.
Otherwise, when it's just kind of complacent or things are good, I don't know what to do, or I don't know who I am. Like I only know myself in resistance.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That is, we've visited some personality structures over the last few weeks too, but
Yeah.
this is another one, which is victim dependent personality, which is where we tend to put ourselves in more risky, more harmful, more dangerous situations, or more intentionally, more situations that will cause us stress and discomfort, for that exact reason that you described, which is that we can't really find ourselves out of it. And we sort of need struggle to be part of our story in order to feel or be connected to ourselves or to other people. And so the most obvious example of that is an abusive relationship. This would explain why some people can't detach or get out of harmful circumstances. It would also explain to someone who maybe is a bit more promiscuous and finds themselves maybe endangering themselves in sexually harmful ways, in ways that are a bit too risky for the scenario. Something like if someone's walking down a street in a scenario that is unequivocally dangerous, there are some people whose psychology does lead them to that place. And I should also just add here, just as that caveat, that this is that bigger conversation around victim blaming, right? That can come in here too, which is that I do think that there is room to have both conversations where it's not blaming a victim to say there are certain people who do put themselves into really dangerous, harmful situations in ways that their psychology hasn't yet helped them avoid. And so that is where I see a lot of this actually in gay male culture. Unfortunately, a lot of people are putting themselves in maybe situations that are maybe a bit more dangerous with regards to drugs or regards to relationships, in regards to maybe even just age gaps in relationships. That may be another example of that. That is not to say that, of course, the lovely listener is doing any of these things. I'm just saying these are some examples of what we're talking about.
Right.
That sometimes the struggle can be hard to peel away from. It can be hard to get out of when it feels like that's your normal. And it sort of is that meme about the fish in the water,
right? Where
the fish is kind of swimming by being like, oh, the water's great today, eh? And then the other fish turns to the other one and goes, what's water? What are you talking about?
Oh.
In a way that to a fish who's swimming in water, it's almost like invisible, right?
Yeah.
That it's just some people naturally have just had struggle a part of their lives. And this is very common for people, of course, in minority groups or even people who have had early histories of trauma in childhood, that it can be hard to identify it or even identify their power in situations where they objectively do have power or an ability to sort of get out of it, but are sort of entrenched in this maybe psychological cycle that is a bit harder to break when not aware of it. This is an interesting kind of tangent we fell down.
Yeah,
but I see the connection, but it's interesting, right?
Yeah, and
of course, it's not to blame anyone for
no, and I don't hear you saying that. I think like no one deserves harm.
No,
right?
no,
I think
no,
that's
no.
just like the blanket statement. Like no one deserves harm. I can see how like that in that personality type, like things moving slower, things that are comfortable, things that are more habitual could feel boring. And yeah, I can see how maybe the risk taking or the, putting yourself in like situations where you have to kind of triage or can feel like, oh, I now I know who I am.
It's familiar.
Yeah.
Maybe a more clear-cut example too is for someone who's grown up with abuse or whether that's emotional abuse or physical abuse. Sometimes people gravitate towards those relationships because it's familiar, not because it's healthy.
Right.
They get themselves back into those scenarios because that's what feels like home, and those are the types of bonds or attachments that feel like love. If it feels like love and attachment because it's familiar, not because it's secure. And so that is a dynamic where, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I do think that there is a part of us that can relate to that on some level. In many ways, I do think that we gravitate towards this pain is pleasure system that can sometimes be hard to distinguish for some people. And I don't mean that in a sadistic way. I don't mean like for the people who love pain and call it pleasure.
Yeah.
I'm just saying for the people that put themselves in scenarios, whether that's with jobs, with burnout, with the way that we take care of our own needs and self-care, or the way that we even treat our own mental health sometimes. On paper, we might look at that for someone else and say, why are you doing that? What is to that? Like, why are you doing that behavior when you know it kind of hurts you? Or why are you finding yourself back in that relationship when you know it's not working?
Yeah.
Those are all just sort of the rhythms of life that again, we find ourselves in. And I do take the compassionate lens, which is that there are probably protective reasons why we do that.
Yeah.
And I do think that our attachment frameworks that we're used to do inform a lot of what we choose. And so the person who maybe chooses an avoidant partner is someone who grew up kind of in that environment where we've had avoidance as a part of our language of love.
Right.
Right. And so just to go back to this bigger conversation around resilience and struggle and change, sometimes people find familiarity in the struggle and in the kind of upheaval. And some people do wish for greener pastures and they try to find that change or that new environment that is going to feel more for them. But that's scary to leap into when it's not necessarily a part of your normal or a part of something that has helped you in the past.
So I guess when do you know to just,
I mean,
too big of a question.
Well, only because
too big of a question for the end of a segment.
Only because that's the work of therapy, right?
Right.
I think this is like a good opportunity to sell like why and how psychotherapy can help is that is what can help people make those changes when maybe you're feeling like you're struggling to do so.
Right.
Yep. All right. Wow, we sure solved that.
We went splunking.
We did, and I
Are we
do.
gonna go deeper?
No, I don't know. What are we talking about in the second segment?
You prepared it.
Oh, cognitive biases. Yes, of course.
Okay, so of course we're gonna go deeper.
Maybe I'm hoping that we can stay maybe a bit more fun and flirty
Okay.
than getting necessarily deeper again.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see if we can
But we'll
stay
see.
at this.
Exactly.
We'll
Okay.
see.
Okay, BRB.
Okay. Bye. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Michael. Welcome back.
Hey.
This Michael here is having some issues today. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the dance that I'm currently doing with
with Mike.
doing with Michael. And
It's a beautiful tango.
it is.
I've
And
never seen.
sometimes
such
I
a
like to
beautiful
give him the dip.
Yeah.
And just sometimes I like to give him a little
Love
kiss.
that. Okay, cute.
Little kiss.
Just a little bit of PDA here on the pod.
Exactly. So me and Michael are going steady.
Okay, so tell me.
Hopefully for the next segment.
hopefully.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's not very steady.
I know he's leaning, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's-
Anyways, it's working.
That's okay. Yeah, I think it's getting in. I think it's
The job's being done. I'm looking at the levels.
the sound is getting to where it needs to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
So tell us about segment 2.
Okay. So I was kind of thinking about just because we haven't tackled like one of those like clinical therapy themes in a while, like
Okay.
where Jakey just does the kind of the talk around.
Okay.
And so today I selected a topic that I think is just coming up a lot because number one, there can be some misinformation about it,
Okay.
but also it can be hard to figure out what to do in situations where this applies.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about cognitive biases. So cognitive, of course, meaning that aspect of our brain, the part of our brain that allows us to think and to think clearly. Sometimes what can happen is that our brain takes these shortcuts to get the job done. So a cognitive bias is a mental shortcut the brain uses to interpret information quickly, often at the expense of accuracy. Biases help us conserve energy, reduce uncertainty, and maintain a coherent sense of self, but they also distort our perception. Your brain is optimized for speed and survival, not for objective truth.
Huh?
Yeah. So our brain has these creative sort of ways that it filters information, therefore distorting our perception of reality, but also with the intention to help us survive and to keep us safe. So here are some examples. Negativity bias is when we recall negative experiences more than positive ones. So in a situation where maybe we're driving downtown,
Okay.
we recall all the
Where are we
negative.
going?
Well, you know exactly where we're going.
Oh,
Yeah.
we'll say it on 3. Ready?
One.
3, 2, 1.
The beach.
Sneaky D's.
Oh, we can go there.
We can start there.
Maybe we can go
and then
here.
we can go to the beach.
Okay. In any case,
Mm-hmm.
our brain has this tendency to recall negative experiences when maybe the reality of the situation is that it was pretty balanced. So in our drive down to downtown,
Mm-hmm.
we may recall all the times that we spent time in traffic, and then we may wrongly conclude that there's always going to be traffic or it's always going to be an awful drive downtown. So a negativity bias is when we recall just our negative experiences with something,
Right.
and we kind of cast away the positive experiences with it.
Okay.
So maybe if we have, maybe met someone 5 times and all 4 out of 5 were kind of a bad time,
Mm-hmm.
we might cloud our judgment and say, well, that was all negative and all bad.
Right.
When maybe there was a positive experience, but you're kind of willing to throw it out.
Right.
And the cognitive bias would be that you're going to say, well, that person is all bad. Instead of, no, actually, we had a good time one time, but these 4 times they were kind of not so great.
Right.
Right. So it's again adding more gray area into something that's not so black and white.
Okay.
Another cognitive bias is recency bias, where we let recent experiences cloud our judgment. So maybe if we've had like a long-standing history with a friend, it's been positive, but more recently they've been kind of crappy.
Okay.
And so then you may say, ooh, yeah, this relationship isn't for me. It's not going so well. This friendship is not really the same as it used to be. And so therefore it needs to change drastically. When really it's maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe, things have been really tough for them. Maybe they have a lot on their plate. And so the past 4 hangouts have been a bit more stressful or a bit more discombobulated. The coordination has been a bit off. And so that's
coronation?
the coordination.
Oh, I think the coronation.
The coronation. Yeah. The crowning.
The crowning has been off.
The crowning has
There
been
was no
off.
bobby pin, so it was askew.
That Van Gogh crown was
Yeah,
tilted.
it was tilted.
Exactly. Congratulations to Van Gogh.
Yeah.
Many months ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Many months ago.
We hope that your year is off to a good start, sister.
Yeah.
Exactly.
With Sister Villain, you're so good.
Exactly.
Canada's current reigning drag queen.
Recency bias.
Recency bias.
Well, she is the recent.
She's
so
the recent.
Anyway, in
Yeah.
any case. Then there's also hindsight bias. Maybe you know this cognitive bias. This is where we see past events as more predictable than they actually were. So this is where we say hindsight was 2020.
Yeah.
When we kind of go, oh, I knew traffic was going to be bad. Oh, I knew that this friendship hangout was going to be awful because of XYZ.
Yeah, but of course you only know that because you're on the other side of it.
It's hindsight bias.
Yeah.
And so again, that's a cognitive bias that kind of keeps us stuck and maybe keeps us trapped in a thinking error. And so these are thinking traps, right? Is a better way to think about it.
Okay.
Is that these are ways that our brain sort of takes these quick shortcuts to like find us an answer, when really it might be distorting or diluting our perception of what was happening. The last one I wanted to talk about and share was confirmation bias, which is where we may be favoring information that only supports our current beliefs. So we do confirmation bias a lot.
I've never seen this before.
I've never done that. Yeah.
I've never done this. I've never seen it either. Interesting.
So if you're maybe deciding to go on a trip, you might just be using the confirmation bias of, oh, I've seen 4 people on social media post really nice pictures about Italy, so I'm going to choose Italy. When maybe Italy actually is not the best trip for you because of XYZ.
Right.
So again, there are many examples of the way that we use the confirmation bias to make conclusions about something.
Right. So what is the purpose of all 4 of these?
Well,
aside from just making decisions quickly, like what role then is to have all of this?
Well, sometimes if you remember a few weeks ago when we were talking about system 1 thinking and system 2 thinking.
Yeah.
So system 1 is that fast thinking.
Yeah.
System 2 is where we get to slow things down, make more accurate choices and decisions. Cognitive biases would sort of be the bridge between those 2 things. That sometimes when we're in system 1 thinking, we create a cognitive bias to get to what we think is a system 2 decision. And so we say, oh yeah, I need to go downtown, but the last time was bad, so I know it's going to be awful. And so we maybe rationalize not going to the party because it's going to be a long drive or we're going to feel tired after. And so that might be a quick impulse, a quick emotional reaction. Then we rationalize it with a cognitive bias. And then we trick ourselves into getting into system 2. And so we think that that's a healthy decision or the best decision for us to get there.
But then again, like, what is it sounds like our brain is like, we're working against our brain then. So why do we have this ability then if it's tricking us?
It's only for survival. It's for safety and survival. So let's say, for example, back on the
Last Tuesday.
back on the savannah, babe.
Which was last Tuesday.
Back on the savannah.
Yeah.
If you're a cave person,
Yeah.
you're sleeping in your cave,
Yeah.
and you know that the past 3 nights there's been a lion that was sort of lingering around. You need the recency bias. You need that confirmation bias to say, I should sleep somewhere else tonight. Because if, the pattern continues, then that means that there's going to be a lion outside tonight, and that's going to be dangerous. So that's an example of safety and survival where those types of biases set us up for future predictions. But again, they're just predictions. They're not actual perceptions.
Like the lion could just
exactly.
have gone on to another savannah.
Exactly. But we need these types of predictions to be able to make decisions that align well enough. But because we're not cavemen anymore, you and I, we need the thinking brain, right? We need the higher order thinking to make decisions that might be more accurate or more in line with reality. And so that's where we can introduce new narratives, new stories, new ideas into something that is not so black and white or so immediately terrifying, scary, confusing, overwhelming, angering, frustrating, that kind of thing.
Can I ask you a question about biases?
Yeah.
Is that the root of discrimination then?
Yeah.
Because this is everything you're saying. I'm just like, oh, this sounds like
racial bias.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Be sort of the same sort of neuroscience. This is how neuroscience would explain it.
Right.
Is that, yes, these are quick judgments that are not based in reality. That are not rooted in any form of real life. They're just either historical truths or beliefs, narratives that have been passed down, or they are things that we think we need to do in these moments to keep ourselves quote unquote safe, when it's not actually going to keep us safe, or it's not actually required to get there. So yeah, these are thinking errors. Yeah. So prejudice, discrimination, racism, homophobia, they would also be included into this bucket of biases that we have as people in order to make quick decisions, snap judgments about things, people, situations, but don't necessarily fit with reality.
So what is the antidote, I guess? Like, there is a time and place where these biases, I'm not talking about racial biases, I'm talking about all the biases we just talked about. Like, all of these biases that you talked about to be helpful. And then there are times where it kind of kicks in at a time where you're like, hold on a second. Like, we don't need that right now. We actually don't need quick judgment at this moment in time.
Totally. This is where we want to get information from actual facts and evidence, not just from our emotions or not just from what we think has worked in the past. So this is where we want to collect what we might call capital T truth, rather than just relying on all these little T truths.
Okay.
So we generate these like stories, right? And these beliefs about what we should do, who we should be, how we should behave. But we want to turn a lot of those little T truths into capital T ones, where we get to be in charge of the next line in the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good stuff.
That is good stuff. I like this little
Little teachery.
teach us something.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike.
So I think the other thing too, maybe just lastly here about cognitive bias, because we're a social species and we've like told stories to survive for years and years and years, I guess the last piece of advice too, to get yourself out of that polarization or that cognitive bias is to surround yourself with other people outside of those echo chambers. And so this is where, as a social species, we need to like sort through things with people, right? We need to have people that we can talk through these types of things with. And it turns out that the people who are surrounding themselves with more different types of people, different types of lived experiences, different perspectives on things, they are more likely able to combat the biases that they have. But when you're in an echo chamber, when you're more polarized, those biases feel like truth.
Right.
They feel like that is the predominant capital T story that you have to go by.
Right. The homogeneity of the group think.
Yeah.
Makes me believe that this is the truth and this is in fact.
Yeah. So when you have other people to kind of bounce life off of, then you just have a more fully formed picture of life. Yeah. Kind of like horse blinders, like when you get open to the world, you get more opened up.
Oh, those horse blinders. They were so in fashion in the 90s. Like when we were growing up, I just remember my mom just like packing those in my bag, and I would be like, "Oh, not again!"
Did
like
you ever,
right next to my gym clothes.
Did you ever get the courage to put them on, or did they stay in the bag?
No, I put them on every now and then.
Okay,
I did.
it's so brave of you.
Thank you.
Wow,
Yeah.
trailblazer.
Trailblazer. Someone's got to do it.
What do gay horses eat? Hey.
Hey. You stupid boy. You stupid boy.
Oh, jeez. I'm in a silly mood today.
Well, that's okay. Be in a silly mood.
Yeah.
Sit in that pocket. Okay, so but speaking of pockets, at the end of every single episode of This Isn't Therapy, Mike makes a move on Jake.
Yeah, like he's coming on to me.
It's like, stop, Mike.
Michael.
Michael, stop. We like to resurface and like come up for fresh air because sometimes we go splunking and it's just a little too heady. So we want to leave you all on like a note of levity. So what?
I just peeped what the question is about and I got really excited. I'm sorry. You
What's
do
that?
do your thing. I don't mean to interrupt.
We don't know how to do this, remember?
I don't mean to interrupt.
So we have a
geez,
segment
we're here again.
and people ask us a question and it can be about anything. It could be an everyday dilemma. It could be like a big, deep, dark secret. We're just here to answer it as a friend because you're asking it as a friend.
And we're just kind of saying like you don't have to take every problem to therapy.
Yeah.
Right. And so in this segment, that's where we just get to be advice givers and not any experts of therapy or otherwise.
Got it.
Right. So without
Further ado,
and without further ado,
it's time for
asking for a friend. Cue the music. I'm excited for this question.
Yeah, do you want to read it?
Yes, I do.
You're such a excited little girly.
Yes, okay. This question comes to us from the loveliest of lovely listeners, and it goes like this: I'm looking to start my own podcast. Where do you suggest I start?
The very beginning, because that's a great place to start.
Yeah, you start in segment 1. Actually, no, you start with the opener, and you
Yeah.
start with segment 1, and then
click
segment 2. You record.
Yeah, and then you just press like send.
To me, this is more of a question around like creativity, like how do I pursue a passion or something that I've been wanting, a creative project that I've been wanting to start for a while? How do you kind of take the leap and get started? How did we start? Like, what if we start
You
there?
just start.
Like I know that's the answer. Like, you just start, but
Yeah.
like, how did we decide ultimately that we were like, you know what, we need to move into action rather than just ideas?
Because I think we thought about it ad nauseum, and then we were like, okay, this is as far as the thinking part of this is going to go. We can't like figure out how this is going to be received or what's going to change. Let's just do it. And so then it was like figuring out step by step how to do it. So like we rented equipment for a while. We were like, okay, how's we record it? And then we like figured that out. And then I don't know.
I think you're right. Like, thinking reaches a point where you just need to stop thinking and just start doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what creativity is in my mind, is that like leap in from thinking into doing
Yeah.
is where you get to be creative. So you'll do it your way. And some people choose to, you know, find their own little mini microphones, and some people want to kind of get all technical with it.
Yeah.
You need, of course, an idea. You need to figure out like, what do you want to talk about? What are you going to do? Do you want to record it on video? Do you want to just be audio to start?
Yeah.
We were audio for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then we went to video.
We built it very slow, this kingdom.
We did, brick by brick.
Brick by brick. And the
Brick.
single tier just rolls down. your
Baby brick by baby brick.
baby brick.
Yeah.
I will say, like, just doing, like, as you said, when you move from the thinking into the doing, like, that's where the creativity starts. Also, give yourself the grace that it's not going to be perfect.
No.
It's not going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect.
But it doesn't have to
But
be.
it doesn't have to be, at least on the first get. And I will say, doing it with someone is so much easier.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go solo, I mean, do it if you can. But
Grab a pal, yeah. Grab a girl.
grab a girl.
Grab a girl. I can't
Yeah,
even grab
I
my
can't
girl.
reach you
I can't
too
even
far.
grab my girl.
Yeah, I can't grab her.
even grab her. But
I hope that answered the question.
I think so. I mean, I think you just got to start like you're saying. And I think doing it with a group of people is so much fun, more fun, I think.
Yeah.
And I agree. It's going to be crunchy at the beginning, and you just got to go with it.
Yeah. And this is very cliche. Sorry, we keep being like, and yeah, another thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is really cliche, but I would say like, a year from now, you would have been. A year from now, you would have been. You're gonna be happy that you started when you did. Do you know what I mean? What am I trying to say?
Yeah.
Like
Looking back, you're
looking back, you're gonna be glad you started.
Yeah.
So like 3 months from now, you're gonna be glad you started 3 months ago.
Yep.
So you only get there by starting it.
And it
So-
also takes time. Like we've really learned, it takes time.
and
to
rosemary
yes.
and
Garlic.
oregano and garlic
Yes,
and time.
exactly.
It takes so much time.
So much time.
Yeah.
More time than you think you need.
Yeah, you always think, but because it disappears in the oven,
Exactly. It also gets too crispy, too fast.
too crispy.
It incinerates. It like
Yeah.
dissolves.
Ugh.
Anyway, well, good luck on your podcast. Please
Yeah.
share it with us if you decide to start.
Can't wait.
We'll listen. We'll be
Collab.
We'll be
No,
your
I don't.
first lovey listener.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So if you made your way to the end of this episode, you know that this is the end. So thank you so much for being here, lovely listeners. It's so much fun being here. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And This Isn't Therapy on wherever you scroll.
That's true.
So come and find us because we love to hear from you.
Yeah.
It's like one of our favorite things.
Love it. And we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
6, 7. Do we still say that?
No. At the time of recording, we don't say it, so we don't think we're going to be saying it when the time this episode comes out.
Rats.
This isn't therapy.
You can hang up now.
No, you hang up first.
No, you hang up first.
What's happening here?